Welcome back to the Cordials tribe. So I just wanted to, some of my videos are going to be made here in my vehicle and some are going to be made at home when I put on the headphones and the microphone. So basically I wanted to talk about feminism and the effects that it has on not only men, but just society as a whole. Now, some people will say that we're in third wave feminism. Some people will say that we're in fourth wave feminism. My personal opinion is I think that we're in fourth wave feminism. And the reason I say that is because we have gotten to the point where women have pretty much any freedom that you can think of. I think we're the only country in the world that gives the amount of freedom that women have to them in the entire world. I don't know another place where women have this much freedom, right? Now, what's happening is that because they want more and more and more, men are suffering. You know, feminism has gone so far that a woman can say, he R-worded me, and no proof has to be given to prove that he did that. There are many stories of men having their entire lives ruined because women said something and everyone believed it without proof. As a society, I don't know when we ever got to the point of where we didn't find evidence for something as heinous as that. Now, if somebody really did do that, then yes, they need to be in trouble. I have daughters, and I would want my daughters to have justice if something like that happened. So, I feel like it's gone too far, right? There's a such thing as going overboard, and it has definitely gotten to that point. Now, I feel like men are suffering because feminism has gotten to the point where women will go online on OF, show off their bodies, and call that women's independence. If you brought back your great-grandmother from the early 1900s and you had her talk to one of these new females, one of these new women, nowadays, the new generation, 20, 21 years old, and had them sit down at a table, it would be so far off from what your great-grandmother fought for when she was fighting for her rights as a woman. I mean, it wouldn't even, she would be completely lost for words. Like, what would she say? You know? Not only has feminism gotten to the point in that respect, but it's also gotten to the point where it has turned into the hatred of men and anything that comes natural to us. You know, men and women have always had their natural affinities, right? The things that come with you, a natural thing about your biology. Men are supposed to court a woman and speak to her and try to get her attention, and it's always been that way, right? To buy her roses or wow her or just try to win her over, right? With something. Everybody has their own thing that they've done, but and then women have the beautiful part of them, right? The long flowing hair and the sweetness and the submissive part about them that makes men want to protect them and want to cherish them. And we're losing that. So the second part that I want to bring up to that is, and I've talked about this before in some other videos, but Marxism and communism and cultural revolutions have always piggybacked Marxist movements, right? If you look through history, if you pay attention to history, Russia, China, places like that, cultural revolutions have always piggybacked Marxism and communism. Now, it comes in different forms sometimes, right? It's not always what we see right now, where it's like, oh, power to women and power to this and, you know, empower this person. Usually like in Mao's cultural revolution, it was to make the poorer class. It was a classist Marxism, right? Well, they turned the poor people against the rich people who had money. And so it morphs into different things. I'm not saying they're identical, because they're not. It changes. But the overall bottom line of the way that it works is the same, right? It is to tear apart the fabric of a society so that you can reset it. And the best example I can give for that, for somebody who doesn't know what I'm talking about, is when you go in the military, your drill sergeants tear you down. That's their job. Their job is to tear you down to nothing, to reprogram you, to make you an empty shell, and then build you back up the way that the military wants to. If you're in the Marines, it's to turn you into a killer. If you're in the Army, it's to turn you into a soldier and somebody who's going to do what they're told, right? It is the same thing with these cultural revolutions all throughout history. It is to tear down the way that the culture is at the moment and then rebuild it back the way that you want it. And that is what we see happening now, right? The problem is that women will fall for something like this because on its face, it looks like something virtuous, right? Just because it looks virtuous doesn't mean that it doesn't lead to hell or lead to shit, right? And we see a lot of these different movements that take place when you see like a BLM or Antifa or the feminist movement and all those things. They all play a part. They all play a role. The only way I can give you an example is to think about a chessboard, right? All of those pieces have the certain moves that they're supposed to do. And when you look at what is happening, imagine those chess pieces are different parts of this movement, right? You look at BLM, that's one piece. You look at defunding the police, that's another piece. You look at Antifa, that's another piece. And if you think that because this is 2025 and Trump is in office and you think these movements don't exist anymore, I can promise you that you're wrong. You're wrong. They go underground. You won't see them out in public anymore, but they're there. I promise you that they are. You know, BLM had on their page that one of their main goals was to destroy the nuclear family. They're not joking about that, right? If you take feminism and you get women to go so far with their freedom that they actually start to bash men and want them dead, you can make them hate each other so much over a movement like that that they'll actually stop procreating, which is exactly what you see. You know, it started and if you go back and you look, it started in the 60s with the sexual revolution. And there are flyers even back then. I was looking at them the other day and I was blown away. There are flyers even back then with the communist fist like this for feminism. You see, this goes back way, way, way further than the last 20 or 30 years. You think it's been the last 20, 30 years, but I promise you this started back in the 60s. And maybe even the tail end of the 50s. In order to destroy a nation, you have to destroy the fucking family first. And they've been doing that. They've been telling women, your husband is overbearing, abusive, manipulative. That's why you stay home and take care of the kids, because all he wants to do is hold you down and make you a slave. No, no, no. You see, that's the reason why we had a culture and a country where children were well behaved. because they were at home with their mothers. And the mothers loved them. And the mothers showed them how to be caring, good people while the father was out working. She wasn't a slave, but they talked them into that. They made shows to make you believe that you were a slave because you stayed home. You know, my Nana, she's dead now. She's not alive anymore. You know, bless her. I miss her very much. Was a very, very, very sweet woman. And she would cook and she would clean and she took care of the children. My father's a good man. My father's brothers, for the most part, are good men. And they took that away from us. Because at the tail end of my Nana and my Papa being together is when the divorce rate started to go sky high. Everything that you have been taught or that you have learned is through predictive programming. It's through your television. It's through newspapers. It's through stupid stories that they put out all the time. Right? So this started in the 60s, telling women, you're oppressed. You need to get out of there and be free. And now look where we are. Look where that has led us to. You have single women who are being told that you don't need no man, right? And then they're being given food stamps and child support and everything they could ever want. These women will go out and get married on purpose and then get divorced because they'll get alimony and child support. You know that a single woman with 3 children will make more off of alimony and child support than she would if she went out and got a job and worked 50 hours a week? And who ends up paying for that? The man does. She'll get everything handed to her that she wants, as long as she kicks the man to the curb. So you can't get food stamps if you got a man living in the house with you. That's not how it works. Everything that you see was to destroy the nuclear family and the very fabric of what holds our civilization together, right? And it started a long time. It took generations to make this happen. Generations of predictive programming and brainwashing about how women were oppressed. If women were so oppressed, then why were kids so well behaved? If women were so oppressed, then why do you see postcards and things like that back then and pictures of grandma smiling? If women were so oppressed, then why did you go to grandma's house and she had cookies baked for you and she just loved the fact that you ate her cookies and ate her muffins and smiled? That's all she wanted. So now here we are at fourth wave feminism. What does that mean? Where are we? Single woman, don't need no man. Men are working 60 hours a week and losing sometimes 45% of their paychecks to alimony and child support. I don't care what anyone says. That is fucking robbery. You are getting robbed. There is no reason why a man needs to be paying alimony and child support that high. None whatsoever. And the cases where the mother is paying child support is extremely rare. That does not happen very often. And if it does, the courts will give her a way lower amount to pay than they would give her if she was a man. And I'm going to do another video on the court system, but that whole thing plays into all of this. The court systems and the state are allowing these things. Imagine if you incentivized women to stay with the person that they married. Imagine if you told women, "Hey, we're not going to give you child support. We're not going to give you food stamps because you decided to just not be with this guy or go sleep around." You wouldn't have these families being broken up. People would find a way to make it work. Give them therapy sessions, family therapy sessions, so that they can work through things. But we don't do that. We give them a way out. Not only do we give them a way out, we incentivize it. And now you look at the kids today. They don't behave. They don't listen. They have no respect for authority. They are not well-mannered, mentally stable children anymore, or stable adults when they get older. What do you think that's from? And you know, you'll listen to like the news media and stuff, and you know what they say? Oh, we don't know what's going on. Why is the mental state of people so crazy today? What is going on with them? Mental illness is on the rise, and we just can't figure it out. Are you serious? We have the highest rate of divorce ever in the history of all the records we've ever kept. This has never happened before. So you incentivize these women to leave, and you incentivize them to be single, or they go sleep around and bounce from one man to another. The children do not have any stability in their lives. They don't have anybody to talk to because the mother's more worried about moving the next boyfriend in. Or she's completely unemotional and doesn't deal with the kids whatsoever, doesn't care what they want, doesn't care that it's tearing their life apart, doesn't try to work it out with the kid's father. And then the kids suffer. They pay for it. And I've been in situations where I mentioned that to the ex and said, hey, you know, the kids are going to pay for this, right? The fact that we are not working anything out and we're going to end it, the kids are going to pay for it. They don't care. They don't give a shit. It is about them. It is a sense of entitlement. And they're entitled because we are in the third and fourth wave of feminism. The state has told them, you do whatever you want and we'll back you up and pay you to do it. We'll give you money to be single. I'm going to leave you with this. Tell me how many single mothers you see that are homeless and on the street, compared to the amount of men you see who are homeless and on the street. And that will give you a good answer of who is being supported and who is being forgotten. The largest number is men. I'll just give you the answer. And it's disgusting. So while third and fourth wave feminism are here and coming, right? Men are being shoved to the side and are being tripled down on and told how horrible they are. The next time you see a flyer for feminism, or the next time you have a little bit of time, go Google 1960s flyer feminism. And I promise you, the symbolism on those flyers are going to make you choke. Because a lot of people think that this is just a last 20, 30 year thing. Try 40, 45 years that they've been doing this. And it's on those flyers. Communism isn't coming. It's been here. Marxism isn't coming. It's been here. We've been so indoctrinated by the education system that we don't even know it's here. I wanted to make this because every time I see The View or MSNBC or I jump on social media, men are being taken advantage of, man. Men right now have the highest percentage of loneliness, depression, and suicide. Why is that? All you got to do is look around. And then you got OF women, corn with a P, and all these vices that men can go run to because they're lonely. What kind of society is that creating? And if you want to know who's doing it, follow the fucking money. That's all you got to do. Just follow the fucking money. I'm not going to tell you who it is because I'd probably get my channel banned. But follow the money. Look at who is in positions of power over these feminist movements and BLM and all that shit. And dig and dig and dig until you find your answer. It's fucking sad. I got a 9-year-old son, and I'm horrified for my son. Because shit is messed up, man. So, that's all I have for you men today. And whoever else is watching, I appreciate you guys being here. Like, subscribe, share this to as many people as you can. I'm not going to say that my channel is being shadow banned, but I am noticing that videos are not being put out there like they should be in front of people. So please, if you guys can, share this on Facebook, share this on TikTok, share this on everywhere. BitChute, Rumble. Just do the best that you can, you know. The more people I have come and view these and hit a thumbs up on there, the more these go out into the algorithm, and my channel will be seen by more people. So I feel like my channel is probably partly an answer to the manosphere. It's realistic. It's not based on fairy tales. So I hope you guys like what I'm doing, and I will see you on the next one.